The Leafs are a really good team. I'm going to go over it in this video and I'm going to prove it to you. So I'm going to be reviewing the Toronto Maple Leafs and their team so far 2023-2024 season. So to get started, let's go straight into Cap Friendly. If you haven't checked out Cap Friendly, please check it out. Great website. This is my second official video, I guess, on YouTube. But I figured I would start off by just doing an overall recap of the Toronto Maple Leafs and what I'm seeing, what I like, what I don't like. So let's start with the forward lineup. They're right near the cap right now. I know they just sent a few guys down, but we'll talk about that. So first line, we got Auston Matthews, we got Mitch Marner, we got Matthew Knies. Love it. At the start of the year, they kept playing Matthew Knies on the third line, and I kept watching the games, and Knies would just make so many absolutely incredible plays where he was just keeping the puck in, he was just battling down low and just keeping everything going. And I was watching him play, I'm like, he would be a perfect fit for Matthews and Marner, who at the start of the year, next to the first game or the first two games where Matthews got hat tricks, Matthews and Marner for the first 9-ish games weren't doing too much outside of those first two games. So adding Knies to that line has been great. I know they've been a bit slow for the past few games, but I really do like that line. Second line. That's not the second line. Let's move this around here. There you go. Let's fix that up. Second line has been John Tavares, William Nylander, and Bertuzzi, and that has been a great line since it's been put together. The start of the year, the forward lineup just wasn't working out. And it's funny enough that I actually recommended pretty much what they ended up going with their top three lines a day before they actually did it. So I have a feeling that Tree Living and Sheldon Keefe saw my post on Cap Friendly that basically had exactly this. Robertson, Domi, Yarncroke. Domi hadn't even played center at that point. Either way. So Bertuzzi's coming into his own. He's had a slow start of the year. He's just kind of like a power forward grinder, can put goals in. So he's been picking it up. I'm still like that $5.5 million a year. I don't know if he's living up to it yet. But this is a player I'm really excited for to see if he can continue growing, and I would love to see him in the playoffs. I thought he was a great add. Obviously, he had a crazy slow start of the year, but I'm excited to see what he brings. John Tavares down the middle, amazing. He's he's a point per game player right now. $11 million. Steep for his contract, he's probably a $9 million player making 11, but he's doing great. And then you have William Nylander on the wing, who has been unbelievable. 27 points, I believe, in 17 games. We'll take a look at that afterwards, but he hasn't. He's gotten points in every single game to start the year, which is absolutely crazy. He's been their best player. I haven't watched every single game, don't have access to every single one, but every single game that I've watched, Nylander was clearly their best player all year. So he's been unbelievable. This $7 million or $6.9 million that he's making right now, not going to last. Obviously, his contract's up at the end of the year, so it'll be interesting to see what he signs for. I was hoping that he would be signed in the offseason at $9.5 million a year. That's not happening. 10's not happening. It's more looking like 11, maybe 12. If Nylander made it to the free market, I believe he'd probably get 12. Maybe a team drops 13 on him. I know that sounds crazy, but he's been unbelievable. Third line's been so good since they've been put together. Max Domi, another guy, slow start of the year. Only $3 million cap, so the $3 million versus 5.5 between him and Bertuzzi. It wasn't as destructive that he wasn't putting up points, but he had one good game with Matthew Knies and Domi. Those two had one good game where they kind of won it together, and then for 8 games after that, Keefe didn't want to break them up because of that one good game. It didn't make much sense to me. So I really like that shift to the center. I actually called for it right before it happened. It just adds a third line of scoring. So now you have Robertson, Yarncroke, Domi. Love it. Yarncroke has been amazing all year, last year as well. Pretty much wherever he has been put, he's been doing well. This is where you want him on the third line. So but he has been serviceable on the top line, on the second line. Um, Obviously, he can fill in there whenever he needs, but I'm really happy with these three lines, right? Like right now, like this is a proper first line, this is a proper second line that's playing better than our first line, and then a proper third line that can score. So I really like it. Fourth line, Kampf, Gregor, Reeves. So they just sent McMahon down today. So let me throw McMahon back up because this is what it has been over the past few games, and I've loved it. Reeves did not like that signing. So I really like the Bertuzzi signing. I really like the Domi signing. 1 year. Those are great. I didn't love the Klingberg signing on the day of. But we'll talk about that. And then Reeves I really didn't like. Just 3 years. I know it's not a ton of cap, but we're already looking at it being like, really? You know, like if we put him into the minors, we would have like $200,000 that we can't bury, which the Leafs are right up against the cap. So it's that actually becomes a problem. Just don't love it. I understand the reason behind getting him. However, still don't love it. Either way, so this line, the Gregor, Kampf, Bobby McMahon line was so good. So Kampf, love him. He's a fourth line center, $2.4 million. I know it's a bit expensive, but he's pretty much as good as you can possibly do. Like he's a fourth line center who can play in your third line. He's super defensively responsible. He's super hardworking. So I don't mind that cap. I actually really like the signing. I know other people didn't love it as much, but I'm very happy with him in this position at that cap dollar. Gregor has been very good every single game. He has been putting up scoring chances kind of like off the rush. Not much has gone in for him yet, but he was creating a lot. He moves his feet. I've liked him a lot. And now since Bobby McMahon has been up, the line just has a lot more going for it. I'm curious to see if Bobby McMahon continues staying up. I know they just sent him down, but they don't play until Friday, so he might be getting called up. I assume he got sent back down with Benoit because Timmins is probably coming off of long-term injury reserve, I believe is what's happening. So they had to send him down because if you look, if they didn't send Bobby McMahon down and keep Reeves up and Klingberg is on injury reserve, they're a little bit over the cap. So I'm assuming they sent him down. But I would not be surprised if over the next few days something happens. I would not be surprised to see a trade happen. I can probably talk about that in tomorrow's video. So goaltending, we got Wall, Samsonov. I like it. Honestly, I really liked Samsonov last year. I loved his demeanor. I like his press conferences. Slow start of the year. Not too worried about it. And Joseph Woll has been just good. He's just a solid, good character. Curious to see. Samsonov, like the $3.55 million that he got awarded in arbitration was higher than I was hoping for. It made our cap situation very tight. If this was like $3 million or even like $3.2 million, it actually made things a lot easier. We had a lot more flexibility. But I'm very happy with this tandem. I just think one of them is going to figure it out. And if by trade deadline they were really struggling, if one of them was really struggling, they can go out and get another goalie. It shouldn't be too expensive. But I am happy with this. Now, in terms of defense, so our 4 lineup is great. I'm very happy with this. Our defense is what's lacking. So let me pause that. My brother's hacking along over there. So the defense, not great. So what I see is that we're missing scoring from our defense, and we're missing like a physical, like size and physicality in it. So let me just put these Klingberg back up. Let's put Liljegren in, just to kind of show what it was like intended to be. This was kind of what it was intended. Riley, Brody, I actually really like that pair. I don't know why they broke it up last year. It's just been such a solid pair just in general. Riley, puck-moving defenseman. He can score. He's just a more on the offensive side, but he has the toughest matchup, so he's just a good defenseman overall. Clearly not the best defensive defender, but for $7.5 million, I think that's exactly perfect in terms of fit. And then there's Brody, who's just a really good defensive defenseman. However, he's not very physical, and he doesn't put up a ton of points. So that's one of the things that I see as a problem there. But for $5 million until the end of the year, not too bad. Second line, we got McCabe and John Klingberg. So McCabe is a physical presence. He historically puts up some points, but isn't this year. And then they signed Klingberg, and I understand why. Because over the past few years, the Leafs' defense has been like bottom 5 in the league in terms of generating offense. And I know Sheldon Keefe, the coach, his mentality is he wants to be out of the offensive zone as much as possible. Like he doesn't want to be defend very often. He wants to be in the offensive zone as much as possible. So he doesn't want to be on defense. So it's like a good defense means that you're on offense. And I think that's why he liked Hall, because like Hall was really good at preventing zone entries. So it's like, sure, he's not great in his own zone, but he's one of the best in the league at preventing people from getting in your zone, and therefore meaning that the puck is going back up the ice. So I know that's why he really liked Hall. So that's why they signed John Klingberg. I'm happy with the 1-year deal, 4.15. It's like I didn't hate it on the day of because he has a skill set that the Leafs could utilize. However, I really thought they needed a physical presence with that cap hit. Right, I know they were talking about Gudas. Would have loved Gudas. I thought that was more necessary than the John Klingberg, considering we also have Connor Timmins. Like I would have much rather spent this money on like a Matt Dumba, who also has the puck moving ability, who can put offense, but who also can hit and has that physical presence. That was what I was looking there. With that cap hit, so I didn't love it considering we had Timmins. I really want to give him a shot to see if we can get him going. So we'll see. Timmins sounds like he should be back this week. It'll be really interesting to see if he can start generating that offense while not being a defensive disaster. That's a big ask, but we'll see. Mark Giordano, love him. I honestly think he's great. $800,000, you know, like if he's your bottom pair or if he's your 7th D-man, which he might be later on in the year, I really like it. He's just a warrior. He blocks a lot of shots. You know, he's not overly physical, but we did see him fight a few games ago. Just a steady presence, steady leader. And then you have Liljegren, who's hurt pretty badly right now. I think it was ankle or knee, lower body. Other way, he's out for a while. The thing about Liljegren is he's just kind of like, he's like Mario in like Mario Kart. He's just like medium at everything, which is fine. However, you know, like I think because we need to be more physical and we need more puck moving ability or offense generation from our defense, I don't see Liljegren doing either one. You know, so it's like I'm looking at that as like, I wish he would either put up a few more points or he would be that physical presence, you know, because we already have Brody, who's not putting up a ton of points, who's not that physical. We have Giordano, who's not putting up a ton of points, who's not that physical. So I look at that as where the defense needs improving. So that's the overall look of the team. Tomorrow I'll probably go about how I would go about improving this decor, you know, because they're all individually good players, but I think as a group they're missing that element of scoring and they're missing that element of size and physicality. I don't know if we can get it perfect, but I think we can improve this quite substantially without removing anything from here. So let me just throw Liljegren back there because he's hurt. So with this lineup, and remember, I sent Bobby McMann down because he is down right now. We are $500,000 underneath the cap right now with a 21-man roster. I would honestly love to see Reeves down and Bobby McMann back up. I just don't think they're going to do it. I don't, but we'll see what happens. They have until Friday to figure this out. And if not, you know, we'll just keep Bobby McMann down and keep Ryan Reeves for a little bit longer. They signed him for 3 years. I doubt they're going to give up on him in November of his first year. So that's it. Overall, I like the look of the team, the forward group. I like the goaltending. And their defense is in need of improvement. Their overall team is starting to build in a nice direction. So I'm excited to see where this plays out. They're a top 10 team in the league. There's a few teams that I have that I like even more than this team. There's a few teams that have just like incredible defense cores with a good forward lineup. So they're not a perfect, complete team yet. However, I think that they have the assets where we're going again into the playoffs with a team who has a chance to win the cup. I thought they had a chance to win the cup last year. I thought they had a chance to win the cup the year before. Clearly, they didn't do it. You know, there's usually 7 or 8 teams who have a chance to win the cup in the playoffs, and I thought the Leafs have been one of those teams the past few years. I don't think it's delusional. I think it's serious, right? Like, there was a lot of other really good teams last year who did not win the cup, who had a chance to, and that's kind of what you're hoping for is to ice a team that has a chance to win. But yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes. How are you feeling so far about the team? I like the trajectory that we're on. I think it's good. I like Keefe. I like, for the most part, what Treliving has done. Don't love Klingberg. Don't like Reeves. Don't love those signings. Let me make sure I rephrase that. But I like the Domi signing. I like the Bertuzzi signing. And I like a lot of what he's doing. But I am curious to see how he continues to proceed. You know, I did like Dubas as well. But I did not like the Sandin trade. I wish we had Sandin slotted in right here. Everything would look so much nicer if that was the case. Either way, I've been rambling for 16 minutes, it looks like. Please let me know. This is my second video. In time, I'm gonna increase the quality of my video. I just want to get something out there. I'm sure I'll listen back to it, and I think we'll hear my brother coughing quite a bit. I'm sorry about that. But if there's anything that you want to talk about, feel free to say hi. Just like, subscribe, comment, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. And thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, I'll make another one tomorrow. How about that? Tomorrow's video is going to be about the defense and how I think they should fix it. I'll talk to you then. Bye.